I know that I get upwards of 200 to 300 comments per video. 200 to 300 comments per video. 200 to 300 comments per video. Why can't you guys comment like this on all of my videos? I should probably answer some of these now, shouldn't I? What is oatmeal? A meal full of oats. What's your opinion on colored... Ooh. I don't want to answer this question just because there's a stupid little U in the word color. All my international viewers, how dare you? How dare you? Also, it's white. I don't have colored toilet paper. How would Alpha react if they decide to eradicate the NZAP in Splatoon 3? I would cry! Will you bring back Splatlock in Splatoon 3? Most likely. It just depends on, like, what the rank system for Splatoon 3 is. Like, if it's closer to Splatoon 1 than it is for Splatoon 2, then it's gonna be more difficult for the Splatlock to do it. Like, I kinda relied on skipping ranks, because it is, like, it'll be harder. Like, you know, it'll be harder, but it's still achievable. But I did like the skipping ranks, as it just feels like a little bit more possible to do it that way. But if they do keep, like, Splatoon 2 system, or, you know, something that I could see working, then I'd be happy to bring back the Splatlock for Splatoon 3. Have you ever been unmotivated to make Splatoon content? Yeah, that's happened with a lot of my series. It's part of the reason why some of them are finite, like Inside the Mind stereotypes or whatever. And it's also in part because I just run out of things to do. Like, if I ever, like, have a revolution in my head and, like, can come up with a bunch of funny stuff, maybe Inside the Mind subs, I don't freaking know. But, like, for the most part, it's the same thing like stereotypes and how Splatoon 2 players see. But if, like, something doesn't make sense in my head, or something just feels like a grasp for straws moment, then or I don't feel like I know what I'm doing properly, then I just really won't cover it, basically. But in terms of, like, being unmotivated, that does make me unmotivated, because, like, to be fair, I've been strapped for ideas sometimes. But, like, I rely on, like, creativity, and sometimes after a break and some other non-Splatoon videos, which, you know, some people end up watching, then, like, you know, I come back to Splatoon 2 better than ever. Hand reveal? If not, how did you get over the awkwardness in recording videos? Everything you see on this channel, aside from, like, the honest ad that I did for Pokemon, because I did have, like, my grandmother staying over for reasons. But, like, other than that, like, most of the things I record are with my family not here. So aside from the neighbors who I've, like, one neighbor I think I've met, like, on occasion, but the other ones I don't even talk to, it really doesn't affect me that much in terms of awkwardness. So, you know, a couple years of practice and a lot of alone time to record really does help. What do you want to see at Splatoon 3 this year? Yeah, Splatoon 3, maybe more about the Pokemon game. Maybe, I think, like, Mario Kart 9, maybe? I'm fine with 8, but, like, if 9 improves some of the internet issues, I'd love to have 9. And I would also, what's the last one? Yeah, like, so, well, there's also other ones, like, honorable mentions, but, like, you know, some Metroid games, like, the things that we got announced in 2017, but haven't heard crap about since. And, Mario Super Sluggers, but for the Switch. That would be awesome. What do you think of Splatoon as a series? It's still very young. In contrast to, like, some other third-person shooters or just shooters in general, they have a lot more features in Splatoon 2, just, like, objectively speaking. So I would love if, like, Splatoon finally took a page of at least a couple of them's book and, like, began to add more features as more versions of Splatoon 2 keep rolling, or not Splatoon, Splatoon in general keep rolling around, basically. I would love to see more of those. Because again, like, Splatoon as a concept is amazing, but it's just, they just add a couple more ideas and a couple better quality of life issues, then that'll be awesome. What made Splattown your favorite ranked mode? It's a lot more independent than Tower Control, Rainmaker, Clan Blitz are. Like, Clan Blitz and Rainmaker, like, you really have to tell your team, hey, go this way. Hey, don't go into the, like, 3 enemies over there. And Tower Control is actually my second favorite mode because it's, like, the second best behind Splat Zones. Really, Phone? It's, like, the second best behind Splat Zones because, like, Tower Control, it follows a good path so that way your teammates can't screw, or you can't screw it up that much. And Splat Zones, again, the zone just ticks behind you and it's your job to keep it. I like it that way. It's simple, but I like it that way because, again, it's not too complicated. So a team without voice chat or any clue what the others are doing doesn't have to deal with, like, not working together, but, like, doesn't have to deal with each other's blunders as much as if it were like Rainmaker or whatever with a push. What is your favorite weapon for each mode? Splat Zones, the NZAP, Rainmaker, the custom Jet Squelcher, Clan Blitz, the Forge Pro, as I had said earlier, and Tower Control. When you're not playing Splatoon, what else do you play? You know, Super Mario 3D World. I play Smash with some friends off camera. I play Mario Kart with some friends, also some creators as well. I don't know when this Q&A is coming out, but like in May, if it comes out in June or whatever, I did play Mario Kart with some other creators, and also Xenoblade Chronicles. If you guys ever want like a huge time killer, if you ever want something to do over the summer, I highly recommend the Xenoblade game. That game is like, it's 60 hours each for each game, so like that's an easy 120 hours, and again, the music and the story and everything else is like the primary one that I've played. It's just, I can never recommend the game enough. So in addition to all those titles, I'd also recommend the Xenoblade games. I haven't played X, but like Xenoblade Definitive Edition and Xenoblade 2, I love them both. If you could change anything about any weapon, what would it be? Like the Clash Blaster and its existence in the game at all. You know, what I'd probably change is something involving the Brellas, perhaps? Like, more specifically, like the Splat Brella, maybe? Because, like, well, maybe it's probably just because I can't shoot through them fast enough. But I'd also say, like, maybe give, like, a little bit, like, the Tenebrella has this, but, like, the Undercover and the Splat Brella have, like, little to no open up. And, like, if you do it in rapid succession, maybe there's, like, an ever so slight higher cooldown each time you do it, like, in rapid succession. And, like, in addition, like, letting it go and everything. So maybe that would be something that would affect the Brellas. I feel like this suggestion would knock them so far down the tier list, too. What's one bad stage you will want to bring back to Splatoon 3 and make it slightly better? Bring back my child! Bring back my baby Salt Spray! My favorite Splatfest stage. Splatfest, I'd hardcore main like the NZAP 89, and I could just abuse the sprinkler on the top platform and just farming strike. It was so fun on Salt Spray. And also just the entire top platform genocide that happened on Salt Spray was amazing. I would definitely say bring Salt Spray back. I'm not sure what they could do to fix it. You'll have to ask someone more in tune with Splatoon as a franchise than I am, but I would love to see Salt Spray back. It was just, it may not be the most viable map, but it was fun. Since it's getting harder and harder to make minigame ideas, will you ever consider going back to doing other minigames that you never got to do because you had to choose one or the other? Typically in this case, what I do is I do one idea for 1 month. I'm just like, okay, flip a coin, whichever works better, and then I'll do the next one next month. That's basically how I did. That's how I did like in February and March when I had done, or March and April when I had done Tay's idea, then I had done Gina's idea soon after. And I know that there is like a cluster of mini games I need to look over because I haven't looked in that thing since like April. Once school is all over, June will be back, and I feel like the system worked better than just me on a whim just being like, we're doing this mini game, and then I'd figure out halfway through or like 5 minutes in that it just wouldn't work the way that I thought it would. There would be a critical error. So I prefer just this system, and then like if there is two, then I'll just do the other one next month basically. How has YouTube affected your life? Positively, I hope. There we go. It's been, yeah, YouTube's affected me pretty well. It's definitely helped me find my voice properly. It's helped me find a good chunk of people who also like video games. Like, growing up in like middle school, I was always taught it was either Xbox or PlayStation, and granted it was kind of the case because the Wii U was the thing then. But like, you know, the Wii U was like, oh, if you owned a Wii U, you were one in a million basically. But with the Switch and with like all of you guys, it's like, oh wow, there's a community here now. It's awesome. It's amazing. And also it's like financially helpful for me as well, because again, with the situation that was going on, I didn't even know what job I probably would have had if I had to work out. So again, with you guys both financially supporting me and being there as a cool community to play with for now and again, it's really helped me a lot. In Splatoon 3, will you do anything different? For example, will Billy have a change of hair, or a change of look, or a hair change? Just freaking Daredevil Billy. But, maybe it depends on if his haircut, or my haircut, or Splatlock's haircut. Well, Splatlock is covered by like his construction worker hat. But it depends on if our haircuts and looks are in Splatoon 3. I might go ahead and update them a little bit, but that'll be like the ultimate backbreaker right there to see if they're in there in the first place. But maybe for Splatoon 3, I'll dazzle them up a little bit more. I have 2 questions for the Q&A. Will you ever listen to more Undertale music? Also, what kind of new weapon class would you like for Splatoon 3? I've said it before, and I'm not sure how it will work, but I'm just thinking, like, off the top of my head, maybe like a type of healing class, maybe? Like, again, I've always thought about how many times like you shoot your teammates in the back, so I'm thinking maybe what if that healed? Or maybe like if you get splatted once every couple of seconds, like you can like go to the X's over their name and then you can just revive them. God forbid they're over like a little crevice or something. Any advice for new content creators? I don't know how this is gonna differ from like what I've said in like the 2018 Q&A. This is a repeat question, but it might change. I don't know. I'll go back and see. But basically it's just have fun with it. First of all, have fun with it. But if you want to like grow, more likely to grow, because always gyms are welcome to sprout up. But like through the recommended, like, you know, the crazy recommended that like sends you the 7-minute, like the 7-second memes, like that recommended could recommend absolute gems one day. But also it's just, if you want to improve those chances, you could always like make videos like with the timing of a new game release, like Splatoon 3. If you're an upcoming Splatoober, you could always make content on that. There's gonna be like a lot of new rising stars from that. And a lot of channels may be reaching 6 digits in terms of 100K, like myself and some of my other friends around my sub count. If you do want to take it seriously, like I said, just think of YouTube kind of like a business in a way. Think of it like a typical business. And what I mean like with the new games is like, it's a new game, they need supply of new videos to push said new game, or demand for said new game, so you can help fill that void along with probably me and some other people. But like I said, just time it with a new game and also have fun, like I said. At the end of the day, this is all like the nitty gritty analytical stuff, but like if you want to just have fun on YouTube, play whatever game you want, and form a niche that way. My question is, how much do you play Splatoon? How many hours of the week, hours of the day, everything? Not nearly as much as I used to. I actually play Splatoon probably like only for streams or recordings, which is probably like a grand total of like 5 hours throughout the week. Like I played it a lot in Splatoon 1, which is how I got like my Splatoon motor skills up, same as Splatoon 2, but I kind of just coasted in terms of how much I play now. But in terms of like the grand scheme of like over 6 years, I think I have like 700 hours in Splatoon 1 and then 1,000 in Splatoon 2, which seems like a lot, but like if you see other people's statuses on this game, it is absolutely nothing. Have you ever thought about making content on other games? It's a mix of two things. Like, it has to be, I have to have an idea for the game, which is where a lot of honest ads came from. Like, I have, like, that's kind of just like my entry point into the game. And also, if you guys support it, because a lot of games I just end up playing on my own. Like Xenoblade, there's no way in heck. Not only do I have ideas for Xenoblade, I'm just using an example, but not only do I not have ideas for Xenoblade, other than like maybe an honest review, but that game is so freaking long. Like, I would never do that anyway. But in terms of just other games at all, it's just I have to have an idea for it. And also, like, there needs to be a moderate amount of support, or else I might just stream it. But like in terms of like recording and editing and all that stuff, like I mainly just do it for like the stuff I know, like either I have a solid idea for, or I feel like it's gonna do decently. What is your ultimate strategy to cutting waffles? Okay, hold on, one sec. So basically what I do is, because some people have gigantic as heck waffles, slices I mean, I cut my slices up to where you can actually chew them, little bite-sized pieces. I've had so many people talk about, ew, his waffles are too small. You've absolutely, this is like the person who commented this, by the way. Oh, how dare you murder such waffles? I'm like, they're not murdering. You just don't want some giant as heck slices on your plate. So I just do little mini things, and I also get things by the side, and bing bong bam, we're done. What type of international fans do you have on your channel? I'm from Australia. Oh, crikey, mate, eh? No, I'm sorry, I apologize for that. But as the channel has grown, I've gotten actually a lot of people from most regions of the world. But it's like predominantly the United States of America that watches YouTube. Like, I think 70-80% of my viewers just come from the US. Then there's like 10% from the UK, little tea time with Alphastar. Anyways, there's like the UK, there's Canada. I don't have anything, so poutine, I don't know, whatever Canadians like, hockey, whatever, you know, like Canada, and then, what's like the 4th place? I think 4th place or 5th place is probably Australia, so, it's always like those big 4, like, the big 4 English-speaking countries are probably where a lot of my audience originates from, because, haha, I speak English as well. Will you ever do some content, possibly with people like Vic, Dude, etc.? I've done things with both of them before. You just gotta sift through the YouTube website in order to find some of it. No, but like I've done things. I think I literally talk to Vic like once a week, You know, sometimes after stream or whatever. We actually streamed once with like Chara and Vasco a couple weeks ago, if you'd like to check that out. And also, we've done the Splatuber rap before. We've done, like, me and Vic have done a lot of things before. We've had a lot of collab streams and such before. And dude, I've played with him, like, for Splatoon 2. Like, we played Samrun before, and like, he was cursed with the Grisco Slosher once. And then we also played Among Us a couple nights, which, that guy is good at like every freaking game he plays. So like, you ain't ever gonna catch him slipping. I talk with a lot of them, I just can't find ideas to do with most of them, because I'm always like a perfectionist with my ideas. It needs to be the best thing ever, else I'm just like, I don't really care. Do you intend on doing more with your OCs? Maybe, perhaps, I'm not completely certain. I love how, like, you guys are, like, I've said this before, Billy was supposed to be, like, a one-off joke in Inside the Mine. Splatlock is kind of just, like, the character, you know, like, it wasn't me, so I just named him Splatlock. Inkspedition is basically just, like, basically, all of these characters are just meant to be, they were just things that I create off the top of my head, and I love how people just come up and run with them. Like, you know, they're like, oh, your OCs, oh, Billy's like this. Like, someone came up with a name for the Inkspedition character that does not have a name. Like, well, okay, he has a name, but, like, it's kind of like one of those Polar Express characters where it's up to you to give them that name. But basically, like, those OCs are meant to be jokes, and it's hilarious seeing how they've evolved, but maybe, if they get to a point, maybe I'll end up doing more stuff with them, to answer your question. Quickly think of a Splatoon pun in the next 5 seconds. I can't ink of one. I'm ready with that. If you had to fight fight waves of 3rd graders with a boss 5th grader at the end of each wave, how long do you think you'd last? This is the most creative question I've gotten all day. But, I think I'd last pretty long. I remember I always, like, go back to my elementary school before things started shutting down. But I used to go back to my old elementary school sometimes. I look at the desk and I'd be like, I used to sit in that? They'd be so small, and then gigantic me over here walking around like the freaking Hulk is like looking in these, even trying to sit in some of them. I feel like there were some instances where I was like trying to go to like my kindergarten buddy as like a 3rd or 4th grader, and I would look at the desk and be like, there is no way I was once that size. I refuse to believe that is slander and misinformation. I completely rambled on from that question. I can last a while, a few minutes, maybe till I get tired. Or some, like, Herculean child comes from the back. How did you come up with fan sessions? Those were, like, directly stolen from Jmoji's fan sessions that he had done a few years ago for Splatoon 1. I didn't see anyone do it for Splatoon 2, so I was like, hey, that sounds pretty interesting. Also, I was, like, on a rush from the huge swath of people that just flooded the channel, like, in late 2018, so I was like, hey, I want to give back. I have people now, so I wanted to go ahead and do things, and fan sessions were one of the first things I could do that like regularly revitalize the server, and still do. Like, the fan sessions are like the link that keeps the Discord server like flowing with new people. It's kind of like just, it's the lifeline of the Discord server in a way. What weapon would you like not to come back in Splatoon 3? What's your favorite Splatfest and why is the toilet paper one? I'm glad you're giving me options. The funniest thing is, that can't be my favorite Splatfest because Americans never had that Splatfest. So enjoy fighting over toilet paper, Europeans. Actually, I know Hamza's from Africa, so I know the Europeans got that Splatfest, but I don't know where Africa's clumped in. Like, I didn't know Australia shared North America's Splatfest until, like, the last few. But if Africans do share European Splatfest because they are in that same time zone, have fun! Oh, wait, I didn't even answer the question. Action versus comedy, or maybe cats versus dogs, one of those two. Have you ever been anxious about getting hate, and how have you handled it? Legitimate hate that, like, makes a lot of sense and hopefully is constructive, I, like, take to heart and try to honestly fix. But then there's the other hate, which is just 9-year-old little Timmy gets control of his mother's account. So, like, the genuine constructive ones I don't consider as hate, I consider as feedback, which I try to fix. The more hate are likely just people who don't have anything better to do with their time, or people who aren't really framing it in the best way, or the most kind of like control temper kind of way. Also, by the way, I love all my 9-year-old viewers. I love you guys. Just please don't harass people online, including me. Q&A, how do you balance studying and being a YouTuber? I don't! In general, it's basically just whatever takes priority, and that's sometimes why you guys don't get a video for the week. It's because a test was shoved down my throat and I have to study for that test, and then I'll do YouTube. and then maybe like YouTube will take the priority over some of my schoolwork. It's a mess, but I'm glad I'm graduating. I think I'm graduating probably like a couple weeks from when you're hearing this. What is a place you've always wanted to visit, or where would you like to live? Well, in terms of visit, there's probably two places. It would either be New York or it would be Vancouver. New York is because I know a couple of friends who live in New York and I would love to go visit them. And I also know a lot of people who happen to live on like the East Coast or just like the eastern side of the US. And Vancouver, it sounds interesting because I've always, like, well, in terms of place I wanted to visit, like, Canada is definitely near the top of the list because Canada just seems so tranquil, so quiet. I mess with Canadians and Australians and Brits all the time, but at least in the Canadians, well, Brits and Australians too, but, like, for this specific example with Canada, it just feels so peaceful. I'd love to move up there. Vancouver is expensive as all heck, but I would love to move up there if I had the expenses and everything. What are your thoughts on Xenoblade 2? It's a good game. After playing Xenoblade 1, I will say one thing that I'm growing to really dislike about Xenoblade 2 style, and I can see why they did it, because they want to feel like, oh, you at least did something, but the one thing I don't like about Xenoblade 2 is how you win, quote-unquote, all the battles that you play, like you, the player, plays, but half of them you lose in the cutscenes. I'm not gonna say which ones, but like, half of them you lose in the cutscenes, and like, that is so bashing as a player, it's so discouraging. Why don't you join a competitive team? It is too much work. I know a lot of competitive players, like, well, just a few of them, like, even Chara, Barry, like, a few players have yelled at me like, hey, you should join comp, it's such a good idea. And even like my power level in X rank, like they've said like that's mid-level for comp, because like my highest has been like 2400, but comp is just, it's so much work basically. I don't have the slightest clue of everything that they do, but like on top of tournaments, on top of scrims, on top of other practices that they may do, it's just, the amount that I play Splatoon feels like more than enough for me, and of course, like with some other people, I guess it can hurt. But like for a competitive team under a competitive setting, just completely, well, mostly serious, I'd like to assume, it feels like it would kind of burn me out on the game. Do you draw your little sprites or the emotes? I think they're super cute. Actually they're drawn by a variety of different artists. I don't know how to draw to save my life, but the sprites are drawn by a good friend of mine that I've known a couple years by the name of Staple. By the time this Q&A comes out, I think you'll be like super close to her birthday, so give her a birthday follow. As for the emotes, they're created by a good acquaintance of mine by the name of Cindy Gamer. Cindy is an awesome artist. He makes like regular art on the, like virtually on the daily of like his favorite Splatooners, so I've been lucky to, it was basically, I had served him and he had served me. I got him Super Mario 3D World and he had got me emotes for my much needed memberships. So, that was a little bit of I scratch your back, you scratch mine, but I am thankful to Cindy, as well as Sapo, as well as all of the artists who have helped me with the channel. You've gotten like some fire thumbnails because of those guys. I noticed you've used Pirate 101 music in some of your videos. I really liked the game and was curious if you played it too, or just like the music. I did play Pirate 101. I think I beat it on 2 accounts. The first one was by myself when I was like probably like, what, 15, 16, a couple years ago. And then the second one, I think I still have the last battle recorded. I don't even know if she knows. But like, me and Staple beat it from the beginning to the end, completely by ourselves. Like, I think we probably spent like $100 on the membership in total because we never could sit down and finish the game. But eventually, I think after several months, we had finally gotten it finished. And I think you might be seeing gameplay of the final battle, but it was awesome. And yes, I've beaten it on 2 accounts, and it is an awesome game that I hope gets more updates. Hey, glad I found your content. What got you into Splatoon, and do you plan on checking or playing other games beyond the Switch? Most likely I plan on playing some games beyond the Switch. Like, I don't have a PlayStation. I've never owned one, actually. But I do play games like Forza and Cuphead before it came out on the Switch on my Xbox One, so maybe, like, I'll bring it out for some other ones. And what got you into Splatoon? I, like, completely skipped over that one for a second. But like, I actually wasn't into it at first, but like watching Zach Scott, because Zach Scott's got me into more franchises than I can maybe think of. He's what actually first sold Splatoon 2 Splatoon for me, and then Splatoon 2 I just got day 1 because I couldn't wait any longer. How do you feel about being a YouTuber? Is it scary at all? Not really. It actually feels kind of comforting being able to like control the subject of like whatever I feel like. Like a lot of times in other conversations I kind of just follow someone else's lead, so it kind of feels like a comforting change of pace to just talk about whatever I feel like talking about. Like if I want to drown people in Xenoblade talk for 30 minutes on stream, or if I want to talk about something that happened at school, I can do whatever I want. I also get the ability to relate with people that voluntarily chose to be part of the community. So it's actually a really nice change of pace. For the most part, it's not really scary at all. What's your favorite type of sandwich? Mine is ham and cheese. It's not a bad option. For me, it's probably between like turkey and cheese, it's between peanut butter and jelly, or actually grilled cheese. It's between one of those top three. If I had to choose one, I'd probably go with grilled cheese, most likely. I want to know if this is something you'd expect to see for yourself, like having a large community of people who support you, or was it overwhelming at first? It was actually like the biggest sigh of relief at first. Because like if I had went to 2018 and 2019 still, like if you haven't like scrolled too far back in the channel's history, August of 2018 this channel was like in still like triple digits, like 300 people watching, super duper small amount of people. And then like it felt just kind of like a relief, like okay, finally I'm doing something right, something's working, I finally have people watching. So it was kind of just like, it kind of felt good. It didn't feel overwhelming or really anything. I guess I did struggle a little bit trying to keep up, but like it didn't feel too overwhelming or anything. At this point, I kind of just like roll with the punches. How do you feel about your Splatoon 1 videos?
The picture you see comes from
Splatoon God! Absolutely awful, yet I guess they were building blocks for what I do now. I will say that, they were most likely building blocks for what I end up doing now. What part of Splatoon 3 are you most hyped about? Can be theories or actually shown gameplay? Really, it's just the possibilities of Splatoon 3 that I'm probably the most excited about. Like, the fact that any and almost everything can be in Splatoon 3 is amazing. What if there was, like, Mario Kart tournament style, where it was, like, the person who gets the most kills, and, like, everyone can only use charges. Like, the person who gets the most kills between a bunch of matches wins the tournament, you know? Like, not a professional tournament any means like that, just, like, random chaos that people can create in that. Like, just the possibility, will that happen? Probably not, but like, just the complete and total, like, mini-game customization in private battles, or room codes, Nintendo. Like, a lot of things would just be awesome in that sense. Like, just the possibilities are endless, and that's probably what I'm the most excited for. What was your favorite video you ever made, or the one that you were most proud of? I'd probably say that probably goes to one of the theories, most likely. A lot of the videos I pour, like, a lot of, you know, comedic stuff into, or maybe more research. The theories are definitely like the most time consuming. It may not appear like much, especially compared to like, I don't know, the game theory stuff that you maybe see, but for a one-man army compared to like the entire staff that they have, it is time consuming doing all the research, editing, and all the stuff on my own. It may not appear like much, but like it does take a few days worth of time. So probably like the theories are probably my favorite child. And in a lot of cases, like people's favorite stuff doesn't do well. So I'm glad like the theories have outpaced like every video. Like if one type of video represents the channel, beside like the funny inside the minds or honest ads, like I would love for the theories to represent like the more research or thinky side of the channel. Since you love astronomy so much, do you plan on majoring in that field in college? Somewhere either that or somewhere like it. I'll say like as much as I love astronomy, I can't stand math. Like, okay, the test scores, people around me, family, friends, they all say like, oh wow, you're very good at math, you know, because like statistically, yes, I'm okay at math, kind of, except for calculus. But, like, I'm okay at math. But it's always just, I feel like, especially in, like, the little, you know, like, the NASA's and the Northrop Grummans and the SpaceX's and stuff. I'm just, like, I feel like I'll be the person to make a miscalculation and lead to the rocket crashing. So I will be happy to be, like, the person who tinkers with stuff. I love tinkering with things. If someone else can do that and just give me the pieces for me to put together, which is something I've been loving to do my entire life, from editing little pieces of funny moments together to even like making little arts and crafts as like a youngin', like I would love to do that. Give me that. But yes, to answer your question, somewhere like in astronomy, like engineering would probably be the place I'd like to go. This is a question I've actually been seeing a few people, but you'll be the representative of it. But are you going to still be posting Splatoon 2 videos until Splatoon 3 comes out, or are you going to be posting other content? This is a very interesting comment. Like, I thought a lot of people would be like, the moment Splatoon 3 is out, throw this game to the curb. But like I'll probably do the same thing with Splatoon 2 as I do with Splatoon 1 now. Like I'll come back and be like, hey, remember that game? And then, you know, I'll continue playing it again. You know, I'll probably continue playing it from time to time, but Splatoon 3 will be my main focus. And also, like, in the year that it'll take for Splatoon 3 to come out, it's the same thing that I've been trying to, like, sneakily do with Friday Game Night. But I try, like, build up you guys' kind of resistance and like open-mindedness to see other games on the channel as well. It's like if I stream them and maybe upload videos of them, eventually you'll crack, because I tell you this, my personality does not change 1 inch depending on what game I play. If anything, I get more hectic. Like if you saw the anime battle from one of the Tetris streams I did, if you saw something from like Super Mario 3D World where I was screaming for my life on multiple occasions of being trolled by one of my members, like I try to just, I'll try to do other content, but yes, Splatoon 3 as well as like other Nintendo games is probably my focus for the next year and in the future. Q&A, how did you meet Squidman, Captain Astronaut, and Vic? I'll just go in the order of which I met him. But I had met Vic first because I think it was due to Mosh Plays, the person I took like the Octo expansion as like idea from. And he had invited me to the Splatoon server, the top secret server, and then I got to meet people like Vasco Games, and then Vic Vion, and I began to talk with them more. And then after I had met Vic, I had started meeting, well actually, I don't know if it was due to Vic, or if it was just due to his own will, but then I began meeting Squidman, because after he'd done like an ad for Vic, he wanted to do something for me, which was based on my stereotypes video, which was still funny. But I met him because he was very just upfront saying, hey, do you want to make a video? Hey, do you want to stream? I still don't get how he's so upfront, but he had done it, and then we had did it, and then we had became friends. And Captain Astro I had met from extension of Squidman, because Squidman like networked us to like a bunch of different groups. Like Captain Astronaut kind of got to know all of us because of Squidman. I got to know a bunch of other people because of Squidman. Squidman did a very good job of like kind of creating a little web of people. So if you ever want to check out just a cluster of Splatoobers, you can always go check him out. Here's my favorite question. Oh my. Here's my question, it's pretty simple. What's your favorite video game OST? That would definitely go to Xenoblade Chronicles. I talk about it so much on stream because it is such an underrated game. But that game, like, it captures every single mood you could ever wish to achieve. And Sonic's probably like a close second for like the more upbeat side. But if you ever just want like if you're open to a couple of spoilers, but you also, because some of the music has spoilers in them, but if you're ever open to just hear like an orchestral trip, like actually you don't even have to look up the timestamps. You can literally just look up relaxing Xenoblade music or intense Xenoblade music, and you can just feel the orchestra, the emotion. And if you play the game, you'll appreciate that orchestra and emotion so much in the cutscenes and the battles and all that other stuff. Hey Alpha, will you play Car Quest? Yeah, gonna. I like you a lot, Vasco, so let me put this in the nicest way necessary. Sucker, if you don't stick your Car Quest looking. Question, what do you think of the burning passion of flames deep in your soul, just grabbing at your body and engulfing your mind with flames and lava? JK, what's your favorite board game? Checkers. Alright, and I think that's about all the questions I'll go ahead and answer for now. There were, again, there was no way in heck I was going to answer, like, 1,800 of them. But nonetheless, I do appreciate you guys coming out. Some of you guys had, like, dual, triple, quadruple, like, a lot of people sometimes are asking the same thing, which is not bad by any means, but I was just like, hey, if I can answer this one, then I'll answer a lot of other people's as well. Sometimes I like to put multiple screenshots, but with, again, over 1,000 comments, I wanted to have at least, you know, a little bit of space on my hard drive so I can render this video. But if you've enjoyed, remember to leave a like and subscribe to Alphastar716 for more content on Splatoon 2 and other things gaming. Hopefully we can be together for like 5, 10, many more years. See you all next time.